Welcome to the 5-minute real estate exam tip from Global Real Estate School. My name is John Mayfield, the real estate tech guy. And don't forget, you can take a look at all of our 5-minute real estate exam tips on YouTube. Just check out our playlist for 5-minute real estate exam tips. We've got some other great playlists there, and we'd love for you to subscribe. Again, that's at YouTube. Just search for Global Real Estate School. Hey, we're also on Instagram and Facebook as well. Well, today I want to talk to you about a partial release clause, sometimes called a partial deed of release or a partial release clause, as it's most commonly referred to. And what do we mean by a partial release clause? Well, anytime you get a loan from a lender, the lender is going to record generally the deed of trust. Remember, that gives constructive notice to the whole world that there's a lien on that property. Well, when you pay off that lien, you want to get what is called a deed of release. That is an instrument that, again, is recorded. And anytime we have recording, or you see the word recording a document, what does that do or mean? It gives constructive notice to the whole world because it's been recorded, and you and I can go to the recorder's office in our county courthouse and look at all of those documents. So that gives what's called constructive notice to the whole world that there's either a lien on the property or liens, or that lien has been paid off. So a partial deed of release is sometimes used when developers build a subdivision or perhaps a condominium complex, and they sell one of the units. It is important for them to get what's called a partial deed of release. And so the mortgagor, the borrower, would go to the lender and say, hey, I've sold this spec home, or I've sold this lot in the subdivision. Could I get a release on that parcel of property so that I can convey good title? Remember that fee simple absolute title, so I can convey good title to the new buyer. So that's when a partial deed of release is normally used, is when there's a subdivision or a tract of ground, a blanket mortgage, and you want to get part of that released. Now, it could also be perhaps you go out and you have one blanket mortgage. Remember, a blanket mortgage covers more than one parcel of property, and you get a blanket mortgage, let's say over 8 or 9 rental homes that you have, and you have one loan that blankets over all 9 of those properties. Well, you want to sell one of the properties to get some income, or just because you want to get rid of one of the properties. Maybe it's a headache or something. But remember, you're only going to be able to sell that one property for a certain amount of money, and perhaps it's not enough money to pay off the entire blanket mortgage. So you would go to the lender and get a partial deed of release. Now, the lender is going to require a certain amount of monies from that sale. Perhaps they may want all of the funds to give you a partial deed of release, but perhaps you can negotiate with them to say, hey, look, I just want $20,000 to put in my bank account for some operating capital, but the rest of the funds from the sale, I'll be glad to put toward my loan. And the bank could agree to that and give you what is called a partial deed of release. So you could very well see that on the real estate exam. We covered a lot of ground tonight. We talked about a blanket mortgage, talked about a mortgagor, the borrower, mortgagee's the lender, and we talked about a partial deed of release. And that's anytime you have one loan over multiple properties and you want to sell one of those properties and you want to get clear title for the buyer, you get a partial deed of release. Well, as always, thanks for watching this video. Be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Global Real Estate School. Love to have you as a subscriber. Have a great day, everyone, and thanks for watching the video.